And so, those who weren't aware, Spoit made a tweet earlier this week with Dear Ubisoft and added a grocery list of things. He said, and I quote, "We love Siege, but it needs real attention. These are actionable steps that could bring creators, players, and Ubisoft back on the same page. What needs to change?" And now here's where I'm gonna get controversial, and I'm gonna yap. The bottom line: some things are correct, but the other things, Spoit does not know what the fuck he's talking about. And it's not all Spoit. I know there's more than one creator that wrote this. Listen, what needs to change? Anti-cheat and fair play. Implement stronger anti-cheat measures. Example, improved detection, ring zero anti-cheat. Which, I need to say this right now, it doesn't mention this, but the people are saying, what the fuck is going on back? What the hell? The people that are saying, like, oh, just improve BattlEye. I wanted to show you something, an example. If I open Siege X loading screen. Hold on, let me pull this up. Let me find the loading screen. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I probably should have pulled this shit up before we were doing this. And I can't find it. Not map loading screen. Let me find a video. 21-minute troubleshooting video? Are we serious? Brother. Oh my god. It's just how to fix it. Anyway, I guess I'll just show you. When you load into Siege R6, it says on the bottom of the screen, protected by R6 Shield Guard. Now, where a misconception happens is, I will show you something. I'm going to open 5 games on my PC. Halo Infinite. Easy Anti-Cheat. Who is Easy Anti-Cheat owned by? Who is Easy Anti-Cheat made by? Epic Games, which is who owns BattlEye. Okay, I did this wrong. Basically, BattlEye and Easy Anti-Cheat are the same launcher. Okay, Halo Infinite. Apex. Easy Anti-Cheat, which means it uses BattlEye. Fortnite. Hold on. Epic Games. I can't spell. Epic Games. We open this. What the fuck? I'm not logged in. Okay, well, if you open Fortnite, it does the same thing. Let's open Siege. Where is Siege? I have it deleted. Well, then. It has the same thing. Basically, all these games... Oh, Counter-Strike. Yeah. I don't have Counter-Strike either. But they all have BattlEye. Now, I'm going to censor... How am I going to do this? If I go into one of the most used cheating websites... I'm going to take a screenshot, put it in MS Paint. If I go to one of the most used cheating websites... There are hacks for Apex, hacks for Fortnite, hacks for Counter-Strike, and hacks for Not anymore, but there used to be hacks for Siege. But not only that, what do Apex, Fortnite, CS, Halo, and Siege have in common? They all have huge hacking problems. That is not Ubisoft's fault that BattlEye cannot detect cheats. Adding Ring Zero or Ring O, I guess, is it Ring Zero or Ring O? Ring Zero. Anti-cheat. Yes. Ring Zero will not work. Why won't it work? If we look this up, if you write a Ring Zero or kernel level driver for your software that ends up having an exploitable vulnerability, you've just potentially enabled a BVIB. Ring Zero anti-cheat just doesn't work. It's actually less likely to work. Because if they use Ring Zero and say we have an attack like Siege just had last year, a cyber attack, they can just shut off the anti-cheat and compromise the anti-cheat. And I want to say Valorant had something happen. Ring Zero is Riot Vanguard. Valorant anti-cheat attack. Cyber attack. I want to say this happened. Yes. So, I searched Valorant anti-cheat. It comes with Valorant cheats free. This will not work. Ring Zero just won't work with Siege either. Because they would have to completely redo the engine and the auto ban. Create manual review teams for bans active 24/7 is on here. That I do agree with. I do know, and I am also aware of, which is kind of the same thing. I want to say the number that I heard is that the Siege anti-cheat team only has about 300 or so people. And if we check Siege's player base, Siege X player base, at 7 a.m. Eastern on a Friday morning, there is 38,000 people playing. So we take that number, 38,000, divided by 300 people. Each person is responsible for 126 players. Now think about it at its peak when it had 200,000, and that was when they had a lot of cheaters. 200,000. Each member of the anti-cheat team at its peak, when people were crying about hackers, each member of the anti-cheat team was responsible for 666 players, which is unfathomable. And that is not on the team's fault. That is on Ubisoft. They do need to hire more anti-cheat. They do need to make manual review teams. However, this next one is terrible and would kill the game faster than it's dying. Provide creator tools / manuals, or there's supposed to be a comma. I forgot without the comma. Provide creators, comma, tools / manuals for moderation and reporting in real time. That means Sploit wants creators within the creator program who have a charm, basically, to be able to ban players who they think are cheating. I want to pull up a clip. This was last year.
Okay. You put a breach on the thing, so break it.
Oh, on the door.
Put a breach on there.
Oh, it's glitched. I can't.
Nice, yes sir.
You know, I guess he can't see my toes.
The guy is stream sniping, so he just wallbanged the breach charge.
I assume the Valkyrie's just gonna play below. Why not hunt the Valkyrie?
Oh, that's crazy. You shoot him.
Oh,
Oh.
the bar.
Oh no, this is sad.
They're literally floor banging him.
Yeah, Macy, I don't know how you do it, man. I don't know how you do it. This is sad.
Not even casual is safe.
I want you to imagine that happens, and Macy J bans Varsity on the spot, and then goes into replay and sees, oh, he shot. Okay, the wall bang, sure, but he goes in the replay and he sees that he's on IQ, saw his phone, saw his C4, and floor banged him. And didn't even kill him. But I want you to imagine Macy J bans Varsity because of that. Could you imagine someone posting on Twitter, oh, I just got banned by Sploit because I wallbanged him? That would be detrimental. Especially to someone like Jinxie, who rages a lot and, dude, this guy's cheating, dude. He's said it multiple times. Could you imagine that happening? Or like, I can name a million names here. That just won't work. It says next, sue major leakers who repeatedly damage the game's release pipeline. If Ubisoft, say they're in a board meeting, and they say, okay, who's the big Fortnite leaker? Hypex, I think is his name. Imagine Hypex started leaking Siege stuff, which I don't think he has, but he might have. Imagine they were at a board meeting. They're saying, okay, we want to sue Hypex because he damaged our release pipeline. What's going to happen is they're going to spend time, money, and resources suing Hypex for releasing the game or for leaking the game updates and damaging the pipeline. And then they're going to spend more time making the update. Because of the time that it took, or that they lost because the pipeline was damaged, and then the time to sue them. Creator support and tools is the second category here, second paragraph. Several titles have now experienced effective and friendly new player onboarding via sandbox-style integrations. This would be far more effective than a continued resource to projects like Dual Front. Now, it's not really clear what he means here. Several titles have now experienced effective and friendly new player onboarding via sandbox-style integrations. I don't know really what that means, so I'm not going to comment on it. This next part I do like, and I think this would actually help Ubisoft. But the problem is, and I'll talk about the problem in a second, CS2 integrates community-made maps, Siege to follow suit. I do agree with that. I like the idea of community-made maps in Siege. But the problem is, is like, I don't want there to be too many maps. Because like CS, they do have a lot of community maps. Oh, I know what he's talking about with the sandboxing. He's talking about like the community modes, right? With the fucking, I can't think what the mode's called that used to see in fucking Reddit stories with the Karambit jumping around jump maps. That's what he's talking about. That's not bad either. That's not too hard to make. I do like community made maps. I just don't want there to be too many maps. The other thing is, what happens if there's a glitch on the map? Like the layer glitch where console players just couldn't play for like a week? What happens if that happens? Do you blame the maker or do you blame Siege? Because that's what happens with CS when there's something wrong with a map that just like is actually bad. They just shit talk the maker online and the maker has to just like, you know, it happens. I don't know. That's not also another thing they have to think about. Eases development pressure on Ubisoft. That is true. Okay, gameplay and balance. Now this is where stuff just... No. This is more opinionated than consensualized. You know what I mean? Roll back the limb damage update. That is true. I hate the limb damage update. That is terrible. That is true. That is consensualized. Everyone hates the damage update, the limb damage. Give ACOGs back to previously removed operators. Consider the return of a 1.5 scope. We do not, and I will say this, I will always say this, we do not need the 1.5 back to revive the game. The 1.5 is gone for a reason, and that reason is good. However, taking the ACOGs off of FF was a terrible idea. I think, personally, because the game is skill-based, every operator should have an ACOG. Because that's just how it is in all the other games. In COD, everyone has whatever scope they want. And that's how I think it should be. Battlefield is too? Question mark? I don't know what Battlefield is. Valorant obviously is different, but everyone has the scope they want in COD, and I think Battlefield. And Apex and Fortnite with all the gun modifications. Everyone has the scope they want, and I don't think that should be limited for attack or defense. I think every operator should have every ACOG A through D. Right? There's 5. Yes, there's 5. I think every operator, attack and defense, should have an ACOG. Nerf shields slightly to make them more supportive, not dominant. I do like that. And when I ran scrims with Quiet Carnage and Arson Esports, that was how we played shields. We didn't have a blitz main fucking running in like a headless chicken, just beating people up and using the flashbang. We had them on support, just actually making extensions, taking space, and doing how a shield's supposed to be played. And I do agree with that. This next one I also agree with. Focus on buffs for low pick rate operators instead of nerfing high pick rates. That is true. I do agree with that. This one is terrible. This is one of the worst ones in here. Reintroduce hostage and secure area to ranked. I don't know. I personally can't comment on the experience. I started year 5. It was either year 5, season 4, or year 6, season 1. And hostage secure area was already gone. But every single person I talked to says this is terrible. And everyone that I've talked to is like, yeah, it was removed for a reason because it was terrible. It didn't fit ranked. It deserves to be in quick match so people can still play it, but it wasn't good. This one they're already kind of doing, but not in the way he wants it. And I guess he's kind of add new game modes, example infected, and monthly events, showdown, rainbows, magic. I think they said in the roadmap they're doing that. This next one, the next one, it's something doesn't sit right with me about it. It would be okay, but it just doesn't sit right. The next one says introduce separate ranked ladders 1v1, 2v2, and 5v5. The idea. You can't see my screen. That's funny. The idea of a 1v1 game mode is, in essence, cool. But adding a ranked ladder for it, it almost seems like a Roblox game. Like the one I was playing a few months ago, Hypershot, that's how it was. 1v1, 2v2, 5v5. It just doesn't feel right to have 1v1 ranked. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Address rank 2.0. Return back to rank to 1.0 while an alternative is built, and as opposed to making people wait over a year in hopes for positive change a positive change will come. Understood this will impact queue times, so people will prefer to wait. This is so terribly. I hate this font. People will prefer to wait than to have their time wasted within the server. Make make rank progression reward skill, not time. That is correct. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. Because I do agree, rank 2.0 is a failure. Like, let's go to one of the Arson members. TikTok. Okay. So we go here. If we go to Naughty, one of my teammates from Arson Esports. This is one of my teammates. This is him in customs against champs. What the fuck? That's insane. So let's check some more videos too. Like, he is cracked out of his mind. Honestly, he projects Diamond 3 or Diamond 2 to champ. He does. He projects Diamond 2 to champ. But if we check his R6 tracker, he is, at the moment, missing in action. What the fuck? Oh, he changed his name. He's Diamond 4 now. But he has been hard stuck Emerald for so long because of his hidden MMR, or not his hidden MMR, what the fuck am I talking about? Because of how ranked works with rank 2.0. Look at this, he's gaining 16 in Emerald, 18, 17, 17, 18, 17, 16, 16. He's gaining no RP. And I'm assuming probably his hidden MMR is probably like Diamond Champ. So either two things. His hidden MMR, Ubisoft with their new Rank 2.0 system thinks he is right where he should be, or thinks he should be lower. Which, even if I'm wrong about that, and he should, it's not that, the second one, that is still stupid to think about. Think about this. Just think about it. His hidden MMR wants him to be Diamond 4. He is Diamond 4. Because the game thinks he should be Diamond 4, he does not gain enough RP to consistently rank up. Because the game is like, oh, we want you to be Diamond 4, you're Diamond 4. He just can't get Diamond 3 because he gains no RP. 19 RP is laughable. That is 6 games to rank up. Assuming he wins them in a row and doesn't lose 19 RP. Now, sure, he's not having the best games. He's not, like, popping off. 4 and 4, 1 and 4 this game, 0 and 4. He's had some bad games, but 10 and 11, 15 and 10, that's arcade. I'm special. Stuff like that, sure. But even still, the thought... Let's look at mine, actually, because mine's a really good example. Chubbs.qc. Let's look at the RP I was gaining this season. 65, 64, 13, 60, 30, 56, 55, 55, 50, 50, 50, and then I quit. Sure, that's this season. Let's look at last season. Last season, I was silver. 145 matches to hit silver. That was because the game thought, because I had a 0.7 KD, that I should be around bronze. It's probably not my KD. It was probably something else. But they thought I should be bronze. And so it took me, when I hit bronze, around 60 games to hit silver. Because I was gaining about... Can you really not go back seasons if you're not fucking premium? Wow. Let's check my PlayStation one, because that's another good one. When I switched to PlayStation when my PC broke. I was gold. 42, 42. That's, I believe, this season. Yeah, this is this season. No, it's not. This is CJX. When CJX came out. That was when I hit gold day 1. Or day 2. Let me look at the season before. Gaining 18 RP in gold. If I were to hit plat, I'd be gaining like 10. Say by the sheer force of God I hit emerald, I'm gaining like 5, 6 RP. That is laughable. This is a terrible system. And it should be what like the tweet says, it should be rewarded for skill, not time. I do agree with this. But I don't think it needs a direct change. I don't think it needs to go back to 1.0. I don't think it needs a 3.0. I think they just need to get rid of hidden MMR. And if not get rid of it, drastically overhaul it. It doesn't need to be the rank 3.0 update. It just needs to be a ranked change. It's as simple as that. I do agree with that. But I just don't think it needs to be this big, like, rank 3.0, it's a new system, it's all that. I don't think that's true. And the other thing I want to talk about is Jinxie saying they need to have a top 500 rank. That would work if we didn't already have numbered champs. He wants it how... And that's the other thing I'm going to bring up, too. He wants it how Apex has it, where there's Grandmaster, and then there's Apex Predator, which is the top 750. And how Apex Predator works is it is elo based. Say I have 1,234 elo and I'm number 731. If 732 gets 1 elo over me, he becomes 731. That's how he wants it. And I think that is how ranked should be. Just in general. Everyone should have a rank, but it should be a ladder. Now, I'm going to obviously have to refine that a little bit, because obviously that would just mean people go to unranked. That's not what I want. But what I want is, I want it to be a ladder. And like I said, I'm doing the same thing as Spoy. I'm making a shopping list and going to Siege and saying, hey, do this. This is just what I personally want, but I'm not going to say, hey, Ubisoft, do this, and then make a, I don't know, PowerPoint presentation. This is just what I want. The last one says, no more changes to the game based on pick rate x win rate graph data. That is yes and no. Because you need that to know what changes to make. But he's right about Ubisoft just making it their whole reason. Oh, Blackbeard's not picked? Boom, give him a shield with an AR that can go through walls and give him grenades. That's just not healthy for the game. Oh, Sense isn't used anymore? Let's just make them, you know the changes. Glaz isn't picked as much anymore. Let's start a rumor about him being able to see through mirrors. I don't even know if they started that. That might have been a creator. But let's go to page 2. It says, cosmetics and creative direction. Develop new skin bundles every 2 weeks, matching modern market standards. Example, Paragon style rotating skin bundles. I do not agree with this. When Paragon skins came out, I was one of the first people to say it's awful. When that leak came out, I said people are going to hate this. Not because of the animation, but because it's a new rarity for $50 that they can gouge at any point they want if they're not making enough money, and people are going to buy it and suck their dick for it. People love this Paragon skin. But people like me hate it. Because it's terrible. We should not have to think about, oh, we might get some $50 skins in the future so that these rich creators can have it. I don't want to say rich, I shouldn't say stuff like that, but all these creators can have it and then just be like, oh, look at Ubisoft, they're putting all this effort in. We should not have $50 skins every 2 weeks. That is trash. I do not agree with that at all. And then add a toggle for tactical realism to hide cosmetic skins for those who prefer a classic look. We cannot latch onto this factor of tactical realism being the reason we don't make more cosmetics any longer, as clearly the appetite for tactical realism is negligible at best. Yeah. I mean, whatever. The only thing is, the people that bought the skins are not going to use that. Functionality and player experience, improved test servers incentives. This is true. I agree with this. Participation has dropped from 10K plus to under 1K. Nobody tries out test server. I do, but not nobody else does. Whenever Quiet Carnage, whenever the new season was coming out, me and the coordinator were on testing strats all night for the new season. Not a single player got on. Reassess movement slowdown. If it's fair but kills player retention, it needs review. That is that not just that, but that sentence defines the actual needed changes. If it's quote fair but kills player retention, it needs review. That is absolutely true. For everything that they've said is fair, but people are complaining about it. Rework chat moderation system. It currently discourages communication. That's also true. And play. That is true. Remove or refine penalties for voice chat / text chat. It's an M-rated game. I shouldn't have to be like a kindergartner calling somebody a dummy instead of being able to call them a dumbass and get penalized. Like, if I want to call someone a dumbass and not call them like a slur or something, obviously that's different. But if I have to call them a dummy or a stupid head, like a kindergartner in an M-rated game, that is preposterous. Add an option to disable crossplay on PC. I agree with that, specifically for what he says: stability and preference. I'm not saying what all the PC players say, controller players are terrible, stuff like that. Because Lone, our fragger, is on controller. And he outfrags all of us consistently. And he beats all of us 9 times out of 10. But some people just don't want to have a controller player. And I understand that. A continued line of communication to address and tackle other issues. I'm assuming he means like Q&A or open stage. I think that's what he means. So he says, sincerely, Uzi, Skittles, Coconut Bra, I don't know who the fuck that is, Jinxie, Thakil, Bolo, Fett, Stompin, Spoit, Poxlinox, Atheno, I can't remember that guy's name, Rasco, all these people are on here. I have seen 4 tweets calling Spoit out for this. And actually, if I pull up, go on Reddit. Let me find it. Hold on. Since when is this Reddit active? Holy shit, bro. I will find this. What the fuck? Here it is. Shiny. A lot of creators have been in the private Ubisoft Discord to manually report people when we're actively abusing it. Since that Discord has been closed to because of it, one is still remaining. We have also seen creators reporting people for being mad and thinking that someone is cheating. Also, creators have absolutely no idea about security and how the anti-cheat system works. They keep putting one and two together. Battle Eye and Shield Guard are not the same thing. Like, seriously, how can you take them seriously if they can't even see the difference? Anti-cheat. Am I gonna have to pull this up on Twitter? Okay. Anti-cheat development is extremely hard and long. Stop acting like stuff needs to be better every single week. They're just so clueless. Shield Guard has been doing a pretty good job of countering cheats so far. It just takes time to adapt since CJX has new exploits. Literally common sense, stop being ADHD. Overall, what I'm trying to say is that as creators, you have the freedom to give ideas, of course, but to stop talking and complaining over and over again out of the same subject and then spamming ideas that just make zero sense whatsoever. Just because you are a big creator doesn't mean that your ideas are great, neither are mine. And the part that everyone waited for, about that recent Sploit post, some Siege devs read the tweet and called him a not well in the head word for the ideas he wrote because they know how stupid it is. Do whatever with that information. I will now mute. Now I will mute because that hashtag. I will now mute that hashtag since it's annoying to see it everywhere every day. What the fuck, bro? Okay. You get the point. Basically, Spoit is just wrong. The devs have already said he's wrong. He's not wrong on all things. There's some things I agree with, but my takeaway is a lot of this stuff is for content. That is my biggest takeaway. They want content. I also want to point this out right here. Oh, the game's dying. The game's dying. March 2025, they gained 20,000. They lost 28,000, and then in June they gained 29,000. Oh, but they're losing and losing and losing. The last 30 days, they've lost 3,000. You know what's going to happen? As eventually in December, mark my words, November or December, we're going to see plus because the new season's coming out. When season 4 comes out, we're going to see a plus here. When season 3 came out, we had a plus. When season 1 came out, we had a plus. Every time a season comes out, we have pluses and pluses and pluses and pluses. The problem is people they just can't get it in their heads that games go through a rough patch. And I'm not defending Siege. I literally said Siege was going to die. I quit before everyone else. I quit before everyone else in Quiet Carnage. But, you know, most people just see their side and then their side's right. And I'm here to tell you that's just not true. No creators have power in this scenario. No one. No one has power other than the Siege, Ubisoft, whoever. Actually, who does own Siege now? It's like they got bought by Ubisoft 2.0. Who bought Vantage? That's who bought it. I bet you. Oh, Tencent. What the fuck? I feel like this is not. Yeah. Yeah. Like, are forming a new company. Siege still owns Ubisoft. It's just under a subsidiary. It's just a new. It is Ubisoft's new new gaming subsidiary. It is still the same company. So, yeah, that's just my 2 cents about the Save Siege initiative. It's not going to work for the reason that they keep putting their personal beliefs in it. If they would have started a poll and said that if they would have started a poll with the community and said that everything that has over 20,000 votes would get put in that document, that probably would have had a better result because it wouldn't. Bring 1.5s will be on there. But it doesn't need it. Everyone knows it doesn't need it, but people want 1.5s because they want to be running around on Warden again, head tapping people with the MPX and just fucking running around like a headless chicken maniac. What people don't realize, Warden still has a shotgun and the SMG-12, but they don't care. They want their 1.5. But the thing is, it's like, bro, we don't need that. And so that's what I'm saying. The Siege community is poisoning themselves by holding on to these thoughts that maybe one day we'll get a 1.5 back if we keep asking. Ask for a rank rework. Like, ask for a buff to who's like low picked right now. Ask for a buff to like Let's think here. Thunderbird. Actually, Siege is at a point where any operator is usable. Soulless. They nerfed Soulless to the ground. They don't even need to really buff Soulless. They just need to just change. Son of a bitch. They need to change a few things with her gadget. But giving her a ACOG gun will not just magically cure her. It might, like, oh, people will pick her again, but it won't just make her good. Because that's just not how it works. But people, they want to sit there and they'll be like, maybe if we ask, pretty please Ubisoft, we'll get a 1.5 back, or we'll get ACOG back. Like, we don't need it. You just want it back because you're selfish and you want to run around. Like, that's why this initiative is going to fail. It might work for one or two things. They might be like, oh, okay, we'll add, we'll add a community-made map. Sure, that is a cool idea. But the problem is, like the dev said, they're connecting 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 don't connect. 1 and 2 makes 3, and there is no 3. There's a 1 and there's a 2. You need 1 and 1, you need 1 and 2. You need A and A, and you need B and B. You can't connect A and B to make C. That's why the initiative's just gonna fail. I didn't want to make this rant an hour long, but I did, because that's just what I think. Because I care about this. I do. Yeah, that's just my thought on it.